this has been a tough couple of days, starting just from Monday, not even counting over the weekend. I just did a video regarding the lack of information that is going to be distributed out to the public. I also just did a video on how they are going to want to start collecting all kinds of data on us. All right, this one is getting ready to move to the top of the list. Donald Trump threatens to send in the feds to Chicago. Chicago, in my opinion, is going to be used as a test. And the test is how much can Donald Trump and the Republicans, and you know something, let me back up, not all the Republicans, the Republicans and the quote-unquote white supremacists get away with as far as going after black people. Because if Donald Trump can get away with this as far as sending federal troops or federal law enforcement people into the city of Chicago, that would just be the beginning. The next move would be to send the same personnel into places like Los Angeles, New York, down into the southern areas. It basically is going to become martial law. Now, I'm going to read you this particular story regarding Trump threatening to send troops into Chicago. And all of this is behind tweets. And dumbass Rahm Emanuel went in and gave Donald Trump a perfect opening. President Donald Trump tweeted Tuesday that he would dispatch federal authorities to Chicago if they don't address violence in the city, which he described as horrible carnage. Remember the word carnage that he said during his inauguration speech? He was pointing directly at Chicago at that point. And not just Chicago, but the black communities within Chicago. If Chicago doesn't fix the horrible carnage going on, 228 shootings on 2017 with 42 killings, up 24% from 2016, I will send in the feds, the president tweeted. It wasn't clear whether he meant federal law enforcement authorities or federal troops. Now, he can't send federal troops by law, but federal law enforcement authorities he can send. Trump's comments seemingly referred to a Chicago Tribune report from Monday that said 228 people have been shot in the city so far for 2017, a 5.5% increase from the same period last year. The 42 homicides, as he noted, increased by 24% from the 34 reported to this point in 2016. The statement echoes Trump's words during his inaugural address when he called for an end to gang violence and this American carnage. The crime and the gangs and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential, Trump said at the Capitol on Inauguration Day. This American carnage stops right here and right now. Trump has repeatedly spoken out against Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel's handling of violence within the city, often alluding to potential federal intervention. But Trump's comments Tuesday serve as his strongest rebuke yet since being sworn in on Friday. Earlier this month, Trump wrote of Emanuel and violence in Chicago. If mayor can't do it, he must ask for federal help. Chicago had 762 recorded homicides in 2016, a steep jump over 2015, where there were 492, and the highest since the 1990s. The city's record for homicides in a year was 970 back in 1974. The president's late-night tweet Tuesday also comes a day after Rahm Emanuel bashed Trump and his administration for their ongoing feud with the media over the size of the audience at his inauguration address. Now, everybody knows that if you go after Trump, he is going to come back after you. This guy cannot let anything roll off his back. So Rahm Emanuel gave him a perfect opening to go after him and to make this declaration. Emanuel said, "You didn't get elected to debate the crowd size at your inauguration. You got elected to make sure that people have a job, that the economy continues to grow, people have security as it relates to their kids' education. It wasn't about your crowd size, it was about their lives and their jobs. If he didn't think that Donald Trump was going to react to that tweet, he needed to get his goddamn head examined. Trump's Tuesday tweet on Chicago was posted shortly after Fox News' Bill O'Reilly, another goddamn racist who just got carte blanche to say whatever the fuck he wants, aired a segment on the O'Reilly factor citing the same statistics. The newly minted president also continued his war of words against various other networks. So here we go. Rahm Emanuel just opened the door for Chicago to be made a test case for the introduction of federal law enforcement personnel. So now, when these law enforcement personnel that are probably going to come from all over the country, and the only thing they know about black people is what they see on TV, if you think that the Chicago cops were trigger happy, you watch these guys, because the Chicago police, in my opinion, have contributed to more than likely a large number of those homicides. There can be no other excuse. None. I understand gang violence, etc., 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 but there is just too many homicides, too many shootings in Chicago for it just to be the residents. So in my opinion, it's the Chicago police now that they're laying off because of that situation where they got caught with their hand in a cookie jar by killing that young man, McDonald, and the officer now being brought up on charges. So they basically are going to back up, and they've let it be known that they're going to back up and not actually do their job. So now, number one, it's carte blanche for the people that are actually doing all of the harm and hurt to the community. And it's also carte blanche for their members to go out there in the dead of night and start shooting up people, because there's not going to be any investigations of these things. So again, if he puts federal law enforcement into Chicago and gets away with it, the next step is federal law enforcement all over the country, and watch the prison population zoom, watch the murder rates zoom, watch all of these law enforcement officials acting like it's the Wild Wild West and killing people and not being held accountable. So if you thought things were really bad before, you wait to see what happens next. This has been one hell of a couple of days, and in my opinion, this is just the beginning. For all of you people who decided that you didn't want to vote, that you wanted to stay home, okay, for all of you people who decided that you wanted to change and decided you were going to go with Trump, you get what you pay for. And apparently you paid basically for the restriction of our rights, basically martial law, and more than that, you paid by giving up your liberty, because all of these quote unquote give me liberty or give me death Republicans, the last thing that they're concerned about is you having liberty, you having rights. They don't give a damn as long as they get theirs. And you are going to see shortly. Notice I said there's a blackout on all information coming out of all of the federal agencies. That was just declared. If you don't know what's going on with the agencies, if they're restricting the protections that they are supposed to and currently extend to us, who are you going to look to defend yourself? I'm not worried about myself because, I'm basically prepared. And I'm not going to say more than that. But a whole lot of you, when this goes down, you guys are going to be looking for help, and there's going to be nobody coming to help you. Good luck.